Hello, Yellow Couch family, and welcome to another episode where we have on the couch with us today a very exciting guest, someone that everybody has been saying, when are we going to have Brenda Msangi? Well, here she is,
Ta-da!
the CEO of CCBRT Hospital. She sits on numerous boards, including the CEO Roundtable of Tanzania, Association of Tanzanian Employers. She also sits on the board of World Vision and the Pharmacists Society of Tanzania as well. Mm-hmm. You are a pharmacist by training, I believe.
That's right.
I'm glad to have you with us today. We're super excited and just want to get to know you better. So welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, guys.
Fantastic to have you finally. So where do we even begin? I hear there's great news happening at CCBRT. Let's start there. A little Dicky Bird told me that we've had a new bundle of joy.
Yes, so we've just added new services at CCBRT.
Right.
So finally our mother and newborn wing is open, but it's a soft opening.
Okay.
We're officially going to open it. But we've already started delivering babies.
My goodness, that's exciting.
I tell you, Miranda will not believe this, but the first baby actually came on my birthday.
What?
3rd of January.
I love that.
I know, and it was a girl as well.
And she's not called Brenda?
No,
or
she's
is she
not. But
not even
to
a middle name.
Listen,
She will be
to me, she's Brenda.
Baby Brenda.
Baby
Baby Brenda was born on Brenda's birthday.
Yes.
Talk to us about the role that you're holding now. It's a huge role. You're the first female Tanzanian to hold this position at CCBRT.
Yeah.
And I think what the viewers probably have noticed is how you have transformed the organization, but also the way you've made CCBRT stand out as an organization in Tanzania. What drives you every day when you get up in the morning?
Inspiration.
Okay.
So for me, really, it's inspiration, and that is also my personal vision, is to inspire others and to get inspiration from others as well. So I'm very intentional for those who follow me. Really, whatever I post, whatever I talk about, I'm being very intentional to inspire others to believe that they can in whatever that they do or they intend to be doing. So for CCBRT, to me, it's a family.
Right.
I love the way you said it, that how CCBRT is almost kind of like rebranded itself.
Absolutely.
And I was also intentional with that because I also used my own personal brand to also elevate CCBRT brand, and I think that's another. There's a myth.
Yes,
there's a myth about personal brand.
Right.
That sometimes companies or organizations they don't like people or their staff to have their personal vision because it might either confuse or it might kind of diminish the company's personal vision.
Right.
But I always say no. It's really how to capitalize. If you have staff members or team members who really have something with them that they can really uplift the brand of the company. So I think for me, I was very intentional because people needed to understand what CCBRT was about.
Right.
And the journey. I mean, it's going to be our 29th year.
Amazing.
And it's amazing how the journey has been, how CCBRT started and where it is now and where we're heading.
Yeah.
It started it was really like a project.
Yeah.
We're finding people who are blind and restoring sight. We didn't even have a hospital by then. We're using government facilities to do surgeries.
So it was more outreach work, community outreach work that you were doing. Okay.
And it's really when the impact was seen that CCBRT is restoring sight, and that's how now the government even gave that plot of land at Tanzania. So the first hospital was built in 2000 and opened 2001. But then it has been, since then, growth and growth and growth. But we're still a super specialized hospital.
Yep.
And we are on our own journey to become a social enterprise.
Right.
So we do provide private services.
Yeah.
So that one day that can be the biggest donor to CCBRT.
Right.
Because still, we ended last year with 46% of our own revenue supporting the operations.
Yes.
And 54% from outside. So we want one day, our own revenue to be more than what we're getting from outside.
To be self-sufficient. So if there are viewers watching, if they want to support CCBRT, going to the private clinic is a great way to support the organization.
Absolutely.
And there's a full suite of services, everything from optical, dental.
It's more of a polyclinic. I mean, we do have dental, dialysis, we have dermatology, we have gyno as well. So that's one way that you can also support the work of CCBRT, because we really, we cannot even doubt the impact that CCBRT had in Tanzania.
No, you're preaching to the
serving.
choir. I'm obsessed.
Yes.
I want to go back to something that you were saying about branding and values.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I believe that your personal values need to align to the organizations that you support, in this case, CCBRT.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about how you've been able to successfully build your brand, which is authentic, it is inspiring to women and men alike. How have you managed to do that?
I have to say, Miranda, I think for me, I started being very, very intentional.
Yeah.
I would say 2 years ago.
Yes.
Where I said, okay, Brenda, who is Brenda? You know? And sometimes when you ask, that's such a deep question. And sometimes people just say, oh, I'm a CEO. No, that is what I do. It's not who I am. So the first thing for me was to really define who is Brenda. What is Brenda? Who is Brenda about? What are Brenda's values? Because everything else then has to be about that. What is my core? And who Brenda is really a person who really wants to inspire and make others believe that they can in whatever that they want to do, right? And I have my own values. You know, I'm very passionate, very keen with learning as well. Having fun. For those who know me, they know
laugh a lot.
I do laugh a lot, and whatever I do, I try to bring fun into it. And sometimes, and it's key because, you know, what we're doing is very heavy work, and my team will sometimes, you know, we don't see light at the end of that tunnel. But as a leader, you know, you are there to say, hang on, guys. Yes, there's total darkness, but trust me, there is light. So that's part of leadership as well. You really need to inspire others because we influence human behavior in two ways, either by manipulating it or inspiring it. So I choose to inspire human behavior because manipulation is very short-lived. And it's not sustainable.
And it's not aligned to our values either. So absolutely. So any tips for somebody who's watching now who hasn't built a brand? You've shared a good one there. You really need to know yourself. What drives you? What are your values? You need to do the work.
Absolutely. And it's deep. It's really, you need to really think it through, because once you really know who you are, know what you do, not that you are working as a HOD of HR. Who are you? Because once you really know who you are, the universe itself will start aligning to who you are. And the opportunities that you'll come across, it will help you to say no, because not every opportunity you need to say yes to.
I agree.
And that has really helped me to some of the opportunities that come my way. I said, you know, thank you. That is not really in alignment with who I am.
And as you continue to grow, you get more opportunities and you're having to say more no's, right?
And you really, and once you know who you are, it's easier to say no, because sometimes when an opportunity comes and you really don't know who you are, you'll say, oh, let me just take it because, you know, it's good money. But hang on, okay, it's good money, but is it aligned with who you are? Because you need to be authentic. And you will confuse people if you're saying you're one thing and you're doing something which is completely different.
So aligning values and actions.
Absolutely, because then people you build that integrity, because they'll know that's who you are. They see how you act. They see the things you do. They're all in alignment with who you are.
And the consistency of it as well, that you do it day in, day out. Okay. Talk to us about how you might have struggled. I don't know if you have, the rooms that you've entered. We know how it is as women in leadership. It's not easy. But how do you hold your own? How do you stay grounded? How do you stay balanced, even when you might be in hot water?
I think you just go back, why am I doing this? What is your why? Right? As a company, as a personal individual, it's very easy to say, oh, this is what I do. This is how I do it. But why are you doing it? Once you know why you're doing what you're doing, every time, it doesn't really matter how hard the situation is. You will just remind yourself, Brenda, okay, it's a phase. It's part of the process. You need to go through this because you chose to do this. Why?
So you remind yourself of that. It grounds you. How do you deal now with the sometimes your privacy might be compromised
Yes.
as a public figure, and I
Yes.
believe you've become one. You
By
said in the
the
last 2 years.
way, girl,
You go do your shopping and people are like,
Miranda,
hey, Brenda, my
Miranda.
friend.
Let me tell you something. First of all, even accepting that I'm a public figure, I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not. Of course
I hear
I'm
you.
not. What?
I hear you.
I'm just Brenda.
Brenda, yeah.
I'm just Brenda.
Yeah.
And it reached a point whereby I was like, okay, I was almost like, okay,
Yeah.
Brenda, this penny has to drop,
Yeah.
all right? You are a public figure.
Yeah.
And because people follow me on my social media,
Yeah.
right? And I'm very intentional on, as I said, inspiring. And I have a platform, apart from my personal,
Yes.
Beacon Emo page. For those who follow me, I have a Dear Girl Child
Yes.
page.
Absolutely.
And that itself is another story because
Yes.
how it started. It was an accidental start.
Okay. And now it's become more intentional, I
Now it
believe.
is very intentional, and it's really blown out. And so you get people, you go to a supermarket maybe or a shop, and they feel that they know you, right?
Yes.
They'll be like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
girl child. I'm like, hey, girl child, how are you? You know?
And you've just got to roll with it.
We have to,
it's part
because
of,
the fact that they're actually following,
yes.
it means that you are actually impacting them in one way or the other.
You're
and
providing
that is
value.
so powerful, because if somebody tells you, and the messages I get, Miranda, oh my
You
goodness.
share some of them publicly, obviously anonymously, but where people have been touched, people who might have been close to giving up. And
I had people who wanted to commit suicide. I had people who
I did see that.
literally wanted to give up, and they get strength from that page. I mean, what an honor.
I know.
It is such a blessing.
Huge blessing.
It's such a blessing, and I'm so grateful. And these are the things, the little things that it doesn't really matter how difficult it is for me, because then I remind myself, Brenda, you chose this, right?
And this
is your why, and this is your purpose, and that gives you, it inspires you, and you get strength to keep on going, because it's not easy.
And you really feel that sense that this is what you were born to do.
Absolutely.
This is why you're on earth.
Yes.
So how do you balance family and everything else? Because you're
So
traveling and working and serving.
Absolutely.
In numerous
I'm a
capacities.
wife and a mother of 3 girls.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And they keep me on check, I tell
I'm
you.
sure.
When I was appointed to be the CEO, so I called my husband, because it happened when I was in Germany.
Yes.
And so I called my husband, and I told him, and so he was with the girls, and he told the girls, oh, Mommy has just been appointed to be the CEO of CCBRT.
Yeah.
And by then, my 5-year-old, by then she was 5, she said, what does that mean? Does that mean Mommy will not take us to school anymore? You know, because for them, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't matter if Mommy's CEO. And, you know, as long as I'm still their mommy.
Yes.
And I want to continue keeping that.
Absolutely.
And it's very difficult. But, you know, all this, I'm wearing so many hats, as you said. I sit in different boards. You know, I'm very active as well at church. You know, I'm an elder at my church.
Yes.
So it really, the question is, how do we juggle? How do we do it all? So for me, first thing is, I have created a very solid support system.
Yes.
Because I know I cannot do it all by myself.
It's not possible.
I'm a human being. I'm not a superhuman. You know, I'm not this super machine.
Right.
So I'm a human being.
But this is the biggest misconception. People look at women in leadership and go, she's a superwoman. How is she juggling all this stuff?
I'm not.
We've got people that are supporting. And,
Exactly.
and
So,
it's needed.
So for me, I'm really trying to be intentional. What are the things that I should always delegate? Because sometimes we keep busy with things that we should not keep busy with ourselves.
Yeah.
So I build my team to ensure that I can delegate, so that I can only deal with things that only concern me.
Yeah.
That I have space to put my family as well, because my family is very important to me.
Absolutely.
My girls as well. And they're growing up.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're seeing me. I'm engraving something for them.
Yeah.
There's this thing that they're saying, you know, there's a mental map, how you are raised. For me, my parents played a significant role in my life. You know, there's no any day that my parents made me feel like I'm a girl child, then I will be treated differently.
Right.
But, you know, I'm very fortunate. There's some girls out there, the way they were raised, that
they couldn't be.
They could
what
never
they dreamt
even
of becoming.
think
Yeah.
of
It
that.
was.
So I think, Miranda,
that
me
support.
and you, we have that responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
How can we be very intentional in whatever we do and say, girl, you can do it.
Absolutely.
If I could,
why can't you? Yeah. And speaking of your parents, I was just saying off camera, you know, they look so sweet. They seem to be still in love. And I always say, those guys are goals. Brenda's parents, they were renewing their vows recently. What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned from them?
Family. Family, the importance of family, it doesn't matter. You need to stick with family. The values that were engraved in us, how we raised our children, the opportunities that we give our children. And the fact that I have 3 girls, I saw how my father and my mother raised us. You know, we have one brother. I have one brother and 2 sisters. But we were raised that we can be anything. And the most important thing is those things that money cannot buy.
Absolutely.
They say to us, listen, everything you see here is not yours. What we can give to you is education, right? And we will support you. So that's what they did. And the rest is up to us. And we need to know it is our responsibility as well. Sometimes we think it's like, okay, we always blame to others, but guess what? How you become, it is you. It starts with you. How do you position yourself? How are you investing in yourself?
Absolutely.
Because that investment is continuous. It's not an event. It's not something you do. Oh, I have an MBA. Tick. Done.
No.
Girl,
it's much deeper than that.
It's much deeper than that.
So much of what you're saying is resonating with me. One of my values is family first, or I call it feed the family, feeding them energy, feeding them love. And there are so many people that are living in the world and they're deprived. They were given all the material things, but they weren't given education and strong values and principles. And I feel that is the foundation to build you to where you are. Couple of quick rapid fire questions, if I may.
Yes.
Let's go back to little girl Brenda. What was your favorite game growing up? What did you like to do as a little girl?
I think Red.
Oh my gosh. Girl. Were you good? Ulikuwa na daka?
Mimi nilikuwa mchangiaji. Tulikuwa mchangiaji. Mchangiaji does both teams. Yeah.
Awesome. I could jump.
Girl.
I don't know about now.
Okay, don't ask me now. But
Brenda, when you're walking through the hallways of power, what soundtrack is playing in your mind when you strut in those heels of yours?
Powerful gospel music.
Okay.
And
Give us a little note.
Girl, no. Not today, Miranda.
Not today. I'll catch you next time on that one. Brenda.
Because you know why? It just reminds me that, Brenda, there is a God out there who has given me this gift and this responsibility. So it doesn't matter. When I fall, he'll catch me and he'll bring me back up. So I said, Brenda, don't worry.
I love that your faith is such a huge part of who you are and helps you to connect to so many people as well.
Yes.
My final question, Brenda.
Ooh,
what's next for you? What's next? You know, people often ask, you know, they see you, they look up to you, they're inspired by you, but they're also dreaming of all the different possibilities.
You know, people are dreaming. People are dreaming of forming. You know,
what does Brenda dream?
Do you know, Miranda? In all honesty, for me, I see Brenda creating more impact and inspiring more people.
Right.
Because that's my personal vision.
Right.
So my dream is, how can I think even bigger and reach out for more people?
Expanding your reach. I wonder how. I guess we'll keep dreaming how you might choose to do that. But there's more to come.
There's more to come. There has to be more to come, Miranda. Why
We're
not?
scratching the surface right now. There's a lot more to come.
And I'm so grateful for
I'm so grateful that you've shared all that you have today. I'm wondering if you have any final, or maybe one pearl of wisdom. I know you love pearls. You're wearing the pearls now. Drop one last pearl of wisdom. Talk directly to the audience who are watching, who've been waiting for this episode. Here she is, Dada Brenda Mwenyewe. What's your final pearl of wisdom for the viewers today?
My pearl of wisdom, I would say, who are you? And it's such a deep question, but this is one question that we tend to avoid to figure it ourselves, because if you don't know who you are, we will tell you who you are. And every time you will try to keep up with our definition of who you are, and you will collapse. So please take your time and figure out who you are. What are your values? Because everything else will start making sense once you realize who you are.
Powerful stuff. Thank you, Brenda, immensely for being here today.
Thank you.
It's been
Finally,
wonderful.
this has been like since last year, girl. I was like, okay.
She's finally here.
2022 is the
got her on
year.
schedule.
2022.
This is it. Thank you so much, Yellow
Thank
Couch
you.
family. Please share this episode with other members of your circle who could benefit from this great knowledge that Brenda Msangi has shared with us today. Brenda, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
And hope to see you soon. Take care, Yellow Couch family.